not sure what I'm going to say, you know. Have you got a lot to say?
I'm sure something will come to you.
Well, you know. Hello.
It'll be a great episode.
Hi, welcome back to the Horny Book Club.
Hello.
I'm Ellen.
And I'm Alice.
And today we're talking about Play Along by Liz Tomforde.
Woohoo!
Long awaited.
I think this was my most anticipated read of the year.
Legit.
Legit.
When I realised we could get it basically a month early on Kindle Unlimited, I was like...
Oh, bitch. I'm like... What did she put in them? Crack?
Amy literally texted me and was like, there's crack in this. And I was like...
Crack in these books.
Crack. Before we begin, don't forget you can follow us on Instagram at the H Book Club. You can follow us on TikTok at HBC Podcast. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at HBC Podcast. Please turn on the bell to be notified when we upload, and like all the videos and the shorts. Leave us comments. Thank you so much. You can send us emails, hornybookclub@gmail.com. I know you want to. And you can give us money on Ko-fi. Link in the bio. Slay. So this is number 4 in the Windy City series. Chicago.
Back in the Windy City of Chicago.
I'm on Lake Michigan.
I fucking love Lake Michigan, famously.
As we know. And we follow... oh my God, I'm not trying to summarise, am I? We're following Isaiah.
Are you going to do the...
No. I'm not sure I can.
We're following Isaiah, who is Kai's brother.
Kai from book 3.
Yeah, Kai's the male protagonist of book 3. We're back in baseball.
Baseball again.
Doing
now,
more baseball.
What we'll do the summary, but what I would say is I was a bit more into the baseball this time. Or there's less baseball.
There's
basically no baseball
there's
in
hardly
this.
any baseball.
Because they're sort of in the off season for a lot of it.
Or in the offices. In the physio room.
As we're saying this is all coming back to me and I'm like, oh, this book is so good.
Right?
Jesus Christ.
This book is so good.
I read this like the day it came out.
Yeah.
Or the day after it came out. Alice has only just read it, and that's like 2 weeks apart or something. As you were texting me about it, it was only 8 days later and I was like, I've got to reread it.
Yeah.
I need to reread it. I must feel those feelings again.
Yeah, I am the same. I'm already like, I can't wait to reread it.
But what I would say is you rated it lower than I did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you rated it 4.
So did you?
I rated it 4.25.
Did you?
Yes. I'll tell you my reasoning, because I looked in the 4 stars and I rated Iron Flame and Fourth Wing 4 stars and I liked it more than that. So I was like, it can't be 4. But that's higher than I rated all the other ones.
Yeah, this is 100% my favourite.
And I'm like, why? So I'm just going to scroll back.
I tell you why.
And I'll tell you what I rated the other ones.
I can tell you what you rated the other ones right now if you wanted.
Go on then.
You rated Mile High 3.25.
Nope.
3.5. You rated Ryan Shea Caught Up. No, what's it called?
The Right Move.
The Right Move 3.75.
Correct.
And Caught Up 3.5 again.
Yes.
Yeah. And I did Mile High 4. No, this has to be 4.2. Mile High 4.
Yeah.
The Right Move 3.5 and Caught Up 3.75. So yeah, this is a 4.
Which is insane, by the way.
Shut up.
But what I'm saying is, I think that Play Along is a full 0.5 points more better than The Right Move. That's what I'm saying in my ratings. And I do think that's true. I'd love to hear a summary, please.
Okay.
Because I don't remember what happened.
Okay. So Play Along by Liz Tomforde. We are following Isaiah Rhodes, brother of Kai Rhodes.
Brother of Kai.
Brother of... That's how they talk to her. Yes, Isaiah, brother of Kai.
Brother of Kai.
He has been obsessed with one of the medical staff on their baseball team, Kennedy K, for 3 years. And she's like, oh, you're so annoying. Kennedy was engaged for 2 of those years. Recently, she's broken that engagement off.
Unengaged. Disengaged,
literally. He notices the ring's gone, right, and he's like, oh.
And we get that in Caught Up, don't we?
Yeah.
That moment of Isaiah being like,
she's not engaged. Isaiah is in Vegas and with the team for team bonding, and he bumps in to Kennedy, who is on The Bachelorette of her stepsister, who, plot twist, is marrying her ex-fiance.
Insane.
And she's like, fuck, I just need to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. So they go out for a drink, they get smashed, and then they get married in Vegas. And then they come back and she's like, oh, for fuck's sake. She's like, fuck my life. She's like, I'm going to get fired because her boss, the chief doctor, hates women.
Yeah, misogynist. Big misogynist.
Hates women.
Hates women.
And Kennedy is a doctor as well. And when she first applied for the role of second doctor to him, he said, no, I'm not having any women on my team.
When she applied for the job, because her name's Kennedy, he thought it was a man.
Yeah.
And then he gave her the job, realised it was a girl, and then was like, no, I take it back, but I can't not hire you, so I'm just going to hire you as like a...
It's like an athletic trainer or something?
Yeah, as like one of the people who like...
Like a physio.
Yeah, as like does their massages and stuff, rather than like basically what she should be, which is like the head doctor of the whole place.
Yeah. So that's going on in the background.
That's going on, by the way.
Oh yeah, so they come back.
They've come back, yeah.
And basically because of that, there's like a no fraternization rule of like you're not meant to have like casual relationships, as they get called into the owner of the team, and he's like, I don't really see any other way of doing this, like, Kennedy, I'm gonna have to let you go, which is stupid, by the way, but whatever. Isaiah's like, no, you said that no casual relationships are allowed. We are married. This is a serious relationship.
We've been keeping it secret, and we just decided to elope, and then it got out in the press.
Yeah.
But like, no, we're like really seriously actually married. And he's like looking at her like, aren't we, Kennedy? And Kennedy's like, yeah, I guess so.
So then she doesn't get fired. So they like stay fake married, well, real married, to keep her job. But she is applying for jobs to be the head doctor of another team in San Francisco. So there's like, okay, well, we'll do this for 6 months until you inevitably get that job. We like only have to do it in the buildings. We only have to keep up the charade in front of the owner. Plot twist, new owner. The granddaughter of the owner is taking over next season, and she's like, haha, can't wait to be with you guys all season. I'm going to come to all the hotels.
I'm coming on the road.
I'm coming on the road. I'm coming on all the trips. And it's such like a shit.
Oh no.
We're going to have to be fake married all the time.
We're going to have to share a hotel room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lots of fun hijinks around that. Then the way they become like a real couple, I guess, is that Kennedy has a really horrible upbringing, where very, very wealthy family, but has like literally never been hugged.
Oh, so sad.
Like, and has never had any physical contact.
She's like, I wasn't hugged until I was like 21.
Yeah. Fucking depressing. So and like that she's never been shown any physical intimacy really, and that like her ex-fiance like never like always held it against her, never kind of cared why she was bad with physical intimacy, which was like, oh, you're such a fucking frigid bitch.
Yeah, you're so cold. You're cold. You're cold.
You're cold ice queen sort of shit.
Yeah.
And so she says to Isaiah, I really want to be better at like being physical. I don't want to be like scared anytime someone like brushes my hand, like when I go and start my new life without my horrible ex-fiance and with my new job and without my misogynistic boss. Like I want to be able to date and stuff. He's like obsessed with her, so he's like, yeah, sure, I'll do anything you want, basically.
Yeah.
And so then he kind of like is teaching her about being physical, like physical touch. It's not like let's fuck tomorrow night, but then guess what, pretty soon they do fuck. And then through that shock horror, they fall in love with each other.
They fall in love. So he's kind of like, the implication is he's not necessarily like in love with her, but he is pretty obsessed with her.
He's got a huge crush on her.
He's been obsessed with her for like 3 years, and then he's kind of like, yeah, I'll basically do whatever for you. Yeah. He's got his own baggage.
Yeah.
He's scared of storms because their mum is dead.
Dad's gone.
Mum
died in a storm, in a car accident. So anytime there's like a big storm, he like he has like panic attacks basically and calls all the people he cares about and is like, you're not driving, right? You're all right. Everything's fine.
Don't get in the car.
Yeah. And so he's always like happy-go-lucky and then like never lets anyone see the sad side, because it's like in Caught Up, Kai, who's the older brother, is like, I had to be a dad to my 13-year-old brother when I was 15, was thinking about where we're getting the next meal from, like how to get him to school, like all of that, you know, serious stuff. And Isaiah was then like, I need to then bring the joy, I guess, and like bring the light. So he was always like making Kai laugh and like trying to make light of situations to make Kai's life easier and happier. And that kind of continues into adulthood, where he's like, I'm always making other people smile, but has got his own shit.
Oh, like they're kind of like they're do a bit and they're pretending they don't like each other, or she's pretending she doesn't like him, and he's like, you know, really anxious or like really upset about something or whatever, or like having his storm anxiety, and he's just like, I've got to keep it in. I've just got to keep it in, because like if I show her that I'm like upset about whatever, she won't like me anymore. And I was just like, Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That makes me so sad.
Yeah. And then there's so many bits as well from her when she's like, well, he's getting to know me now actually, and so he's going to stop liking me because he's going to know me. He's going to see how cold and awful I am, and he's not going to like me anymore, and that's going to be it. So it'll be fine when I leave because he won't like me by then anyway.
I think I found this very relatable, I'm not gonna lie.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that thing of, I don't know what's happening to me. I'm on an emotional journey this year, clearly, because I'm like relating to everything. But I feel like that thing of
the second book you've related to this year. I'm relating to.
I'm on an emotional journey.
Yeah.
That thing of being like, yeah, people are gonna get to know me and they won't like me anymore is like really relatable. I feel for me anyway. And yeah, I really liked that. And he was just kind of like, no, I really like you. And she was like, yeah, I like you no matter how you feel.
Yeah. They both do lots of acts of services for each other. And it's like really sweet.
It's true. Yeah, basically.
That's kind of it.
Yeah, basically at the end they have a nice, they have a real wedding.
They have
and
a real
nice.
wedding, and it's a great epilogue. And
yeah,
I just loved it. I just was like,
I loved it.
The vibes were excellent.
Yeah.
Isaiah is without a doubt the best man of the Windy City series.
Yeah. I agree. Ryan Shea, I mean, I killed him in the last episode.
You did,
so,
yeah. Isaiah is like my top book boyfriend of the year so far, 100%.
He's great. What is it? Please will you tell me, because I can't really pinpoint what it is about him.
Yes, I will do that.
Please tell me, because obviously the Windy City, we love all of them. Kai
has glasses in the book, and in my head he doesn't have glasses.
and that's confusing. I can't really get on
and
board.
that's all I'll say to you.
And also, all of that book is just Kai being like, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a dad. Whereas I feel like, and obviously I loved Ryan Shea. Alice loved...
I fucking love Xander's
Xander's
so much.
In this book, by the way, Xander's so boring.
I know. But also whenever he came up, I was like, hey
girl. Like, but really, Isaiah, like really, like for this to be a 4.25.
Yeah.
That does not happen.
No.
With romance books. It was just... Oh, the first scene, right, there's like 3 years earlier. So that's like the first day they meet. So this is like before everything in the Windy City has happened, basically. Kennedy's
in the Windy City. In the Windy City of Chicago.
Before anything has ever happened in Chicago.
The opening of Chicago.
Anything's happened in the series. And it's Kennedy's first day on the job. And he's in the women's bathroom.
Because
the stadium, because no women work there. So he's like, I go to the women's bathroom just to sort of like basically have my anxiety attacks. And it's the day his mum died and he's having a terrible day. One thing I would say, the fact that they were like, on this day, we got married. My mum died.
We met on the day my mum died. We got married on the day my mum died.
Max was born on the day we got married again. I was like, okay, you're kind of just hammering the point home a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, and he's like basically in the toilet and she like comes in. He like overhears some of the conversation with this horrible doctor who's a misogynist. And he's just sort of like, just like stood in the toilet like, I should probably go and say something to her. And they just immediately have this like really great vibe. She immediately is like, for some reason, I just like trusted him. And I didn't know why. There's like a bit, I don't know if I even highlighted it, where at some point he's like, do you trust me? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Always. And it's
always
like,
have,
and Kennedy realised that she had always trusted, and I was like,
yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you see that in books when someone's like, and Jane realised she'd always trusted him, she'd always loved him, and you're like, well, she really shouldn't have because he's an idiot.
Yeah, and you're like, where's the evidence?
Where's the evidence?
Where's the proof?
This book is full of evidence
and proof
of trust and love and respect. What I realised, and this isn't a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's just what I felt. Was that like especially in Mile High and Caught Up, I was like, Liz Tomforde's a comedian. She's a comic. She's funny. This one's not nearly as funny to me.
Not as funny.
No,
bit more serious.
Yeah,
because Kennedy's so serious and like a lot of the things that they're talking about are quite serious. Yeah. I don't feel like in the other ones there was as much like sort of, maybe trauma's the wrong word, but like sort of personal issues really going on. Like with Miller and Kai, it's more just like, well, I've got a kid, and she's like, well, I can't commit to things. My dad. Whereas like with this, there was quite a lot of like, quite well laid out evidence for these. Like Kennedy's just like, I just don't really like, I'm not being like, everything's so dramatic and crazy. I'm just telling you that
And, like,
nobody ever touched me when I was a
Yeah.
child, and now I'm just kind of like, what do I?
Yeah.
I don't know how to like.
And both
hug.
of their like
So sad.
both of their like trauma, especially Kennedy's, but Isaiah's as well to an extent, is quite like linked to the relationship. So they're not going to be having these conversations that are about the relationship and what they're doing and be like, ha, zinger, sick joke, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Whereas like with Stevie and Xander's, for example, and Xander's stuff being all about like his mum, it obviously impacts how he might form a relationship and how he sees relationships, blah, blah, blah. And like him being seen as like the fuck boy.
You know, when I said they don't have that much serious stuff going on, I did forget about that. And also the thing about that woman pretending that Ryan had her baby.
Yeah.
I did forget that.
But Ryan's very serious as well, so.
Ryan's very serious, and that one's actually not that funny.
Ryan famously got no jokes. Zero. That man's got zero jokes, and that's a hill I will die on.
Ryan and Kennedy in a room. It's dry. It's dry.
But yeah, like, but because their shit is quite intrinsic, like, to the actual conversations and the practice of their relationship, if you will.
Yeah, that's a
Whereas
great
the
point.
other stuff is more about the theory of relationships, and theirs is about the practicalities of a relationship. Wow.
I'm blown away.
Sometimes I'm just like,
Sometimes you're smashing
sometimes I'm like, what's going on upstairs?
You're not the chicken maid.
I'm not the chicken
Not
maid.
in this moment.
No. Oh, she's quite smart, the chicken maid.
Can
actually.
I say, by the way, I don't want everyone to think that Alice said she was the chicken maid and then I was like, haha, yeah, you stupid bitch. Because I feel like when I was listening to it back, it comes across like I'm like, yeah, you're my maid. And I was listening back and I was like, oh God, I feel really bad about that.
No, I think you were just taking the compliment that I was saying you were made married.
Okay. Just
And also, I think it's just true. Like, no, not in a bad way. Like, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying if we are in a fantasy situation, I'm not saying that you're like main character energy and I'm your sidekick. That's not what I'm saying.
Don't do anything I'm like, it was the other way around.
I'm saying if we're doing interconnected standalones, is that you're... I don't mean this as a dig. You're the
What are you gonna say
You're
now?
the Ryan Shea and I'm the Xanders.
Right, so I'm dry and serious. So
You're the more serious one.
I'm really dry and someone pretended to have my baby.
Classic.
And that's just my
And
life.
you know what? And I can't change my career. I'm too scared to change my career because I'm like being seen as a fuckboy all the time. And I'm like, me being a fuckboy is actually intrinsic to... Is that the word? Intrinsic?
Yeah.
Intrinsic to my career. They're like, you have to be a fuckboy. People calling up.
But is she a fuckboy?
Saying I'm being incredibly professional, and they're like, listen, you just don't seem like a fuckboy enough, and that to me means that you're not good at your job.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I don't think that I'm more intelligent than Alice. Just I feel like I was like, that came across and I was like, oh,
I don't think it comes across as that.
But I also think that you calling yourself the chicken, just the phrase chicken maid.
Yeah, is great. No,
And she runs and the tits bounce.
the tits bounce. That's
mainly what it is.
Listen,
It's
that's
mainly about the
me.
tits.
That's me. Okay. And then there'll be a situation in the second book, say, where I'm really crying and I'm upset about something. And you come and do something that makes me laugh. It's just not badminton with your tits bouncing.
In these books, am I a fox and you're the chicken maid?
I was the fun side character from the first one.
Yeah.
Your bestie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll never find love.
I'm just a chicken maid.
I'm just a chicken maid.
But are you? You're not a chicken.
No,
You're a human.
I'm a human. I've got wavy hair and big tits. And then
now.
So now. And then
I can't believe we're doing this again.
And then
This
I
podcast
find love.
devolves into us making up stories every episode. We're like, we can't keep away from the spinning the wheel.
I've
I've got chicken maid. Dom sub. Chicken maid.
at the airport. It writes itself.
Chicken maid at the airport. It's like a kid's book. Chicken maid at the airport. Chicken maid goes to school.
We take the Dom sub element out.
No, it's fine.
But yeah.
I
don't think anyone
I'm literally
was.
crying at chicken maid at the airport.
No one be offended on the chicken maid thing on my behalf. I do think Ellen is more intelligent than me in some ways. Just like general academic intelligence.
Maybe. It's mostly just like I have quite a big vocabulary and nothing else though.
Yeah. You've taught me a lot of words
Cool.
over the time. Did you say, oh, you're welcome?
Yeah.
I didn't say thank you.
You've taught me a lot of words and I hate it.
I'm actually not.
Take all the words back. I hate knowing this
I
many
can't
words.
stop saying perturbed.
back to it. Right, so what were we talking about? Chicken Maid.
We're talking about them being serious.
Yeah,
as being more
it's serious, but it's also like real.
He's not super extravagant in like how he shows her his love. Like, for example, Xandis's buying her 1,000 clothes in all the different sizes, which is a slay, but is like a bit extravagant.
This one isn't really millionaire. Well,
even though they're both really rich.
It sort of is, but because she's really rich as well, it kind of actually like balances out.
Yeah, they like counter each other out.
Yeah, you don't have that dynamic, which is actually the dynamic I fucking hate, to be honest. He's like, I'm really rich, and she's like, I'm not rich, and he's like, I'm saving your life because I'm really rich. Whereas in this
I'm going to give you half my business.
Yeah, in this one, she's just like, yeah, I'm also really rich, and that doesn't really make any difference to me because I hate my family.
Yeah.
And they're the reason I'm really rich, but also I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice.
Yeah, and like the classic thing of there is no worries about if they break up, what the other one will do suddenly without all of this money, because they both have money, they both have great jobs, they're both kind of like, even though they've got their problems, they're both like stable, full formed individuals.
Yeah, rather than being like, I'm gonna buy you this dog's home.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so what happens if you guys get divorced?
Yeah.
But we won't get divorced, it's fine because we're soulmates.
I'm like, gonna pay for your IVF.
I'm going to pay for you to freeze your eggs, so let's stay together, shall we? And it's like...
Don't need to be freezing my eggs when you're fingering your cum back into me. I'm looking directly at you, Ryan Shay.
Don't say fingering my...
That is like... I'm like so certain that's basically what it said. Yeah. You don't fall in love with him because he's got loads of money. The things he does that make you find him very attractive are nothing to do with his money.
Yeah, I would agree,
Liz does some really good bits very early on of like, okay, Isaiah's hot. So I'm in chapter 2. Mm-hmm. And this is when they're in Vegas, like walking down the strip.
Oh, yeah. So he basically like it takes her away from the bachelorette party because she's like, I'm having a horrible time. Takes her out.
And she's like, one drink. I'll have one drink with you.
We're not even supposed to fucking look at each other because of work. And they have one drink and she's basically just like, oh, he's just like, actually quite nice and quite fun.
Yeah, because they have the one drink and then he's like, come on, I'll take you home. And she's like, what? And he's like, well, you said you only wanted to have one drink. I don't want to hang out with someone who's like, you know, if you're not into it. And she's like, oh, right. And he's like, would you like another drink? And she's like, yeah. He's
like, I'm just going to order you something that you like. And then she drinks it and she's like, yeah, I really like it. And I was just like, oh God. It's like painful. Like, you're like, I want him so badly. Like, you're just like,
I'm like obsessed with him.
Yeah.
This was my first note, is that when they're walking down the strip and she like walks away and then it's Isaiah catches up to me strutting backwards, so I have to face him as I walk. And I was like,
yeah, fit.
A talented man.
Yeah.
Skilled. And then because it's Vegas and all the shops are open, he like buys her flats because she's wearing her like Louboutin heels. He buys her some shoes and a denim jacket, and then she like goes to pay for it, but because I don't think he doesn't know that she's rich. But he, he spends ages like picking out the right shoes for her, making sure he gets ones that she likes. And then he holds these ones up to her. She says, I like those. Isaiah holds them up to the cashier. Can we get these in a 6.5? What are you doing? Buying your shoes. Your feet hurt. I pull my credit card out of my clutch, but Isaiah snags it, slipping it into his back pocket without looking at it or me. He simply continues to peruse the aisle, and then he buys the shoes. And why is him going, like, just taking her credit card and putting it in his back pocket without, like, even looking at her or looking at the card or anything? I'm like, why are you so hot?
Yeah. In the back pocket is crazy.
In the back pocket. Oh.
Yeah.
And you know this is bad when you're like feral for the back pocket, for like the most pathetic small thing.
Yeah, I'm on page 45.
Yeah.
Like, this is not good.
And then he uses the leg of the chair to pull me close to him as possible. And I said, okay, challengers.
I also said, okay, challengers.
Shut the fuck up.
The whole bit where they're in Vegas is just really nice. I've highlighted this. I said tonight is the best night of my life. She rolls those pretty eyes, but it's more dramatic than usual because Kennedy is just as drunk as I am. You're just saying that. I'm not. Leaning my forearms down on the gate in front of me, I make myself eye level with her. Kennedy, I have feelings for you. And I was just like, shut up.
Imagine.
There's something about a man. He's so upfront with his feelings. And really, he's just like, the whole time, he's not... There's a bit in the middle, or a bit at the sort of beginning of the third act, where he's basically like, I've got to pretend that I'm not in love with her because I can't not let her leave. She's got to leave, blah, blah, blah. But for the first, like, 2/3 of the book, he's basically just like, yeah, I'm obsessed with you. I am obsessed with you. I've already told you I'm basically in love with you, and I'll do anything for you. And I will have sex with you if you want me to, because I like really would quite like to have sex with you. And it's just really nice.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's he falls first.
And we love that. But he's even like, when he's talking about her going away, there's no like resentment of her going away. Like,
no.
Like sometimes when this sort of thing happens and the men will be like, no, I've got to convince her to stay. And he's like, he's never ever convincing her to stay. He's like, I will do the long distance. I will, you know, I don't want to convince her to give up her dreams. I just want to, you know, hopefully she wants to be with me.
Yeah, at one point he like tries to move teams.
Yeah.
So that they can be together. And she's like, oh, I'm not going. And he's like, oh, I tried to transfer teams so
we could be together.
And she's like, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And he's like, because I'm in love with you.
I fucking love you, stupid. Fucking love you.
Yeah, it's really nice. He's got a great vibe, if you couldn't tell.
They just got absolutely impeccable. What?
Impeccable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the chicken bitch.
No, stop.
The chemistry that they have, and like the way that they like speak to each other and like just do really small things for each other, and then just like kind of she's just like looks at him and he smiles at her, and you're like, oh my god, it's electric.
It's electric. That's like, so true.
When they have to share a hotel room because they're playing about being married and stuff. They're playing along. There's a lot of come on, wife, play along.
I did the first...
Come on, Isaiah, play along.
The first time I was...
That's the name of the book! She said it!
The first time I was like, love that. And then she did it like 3 or 4 more times. And I was like, no, okay.
Come on, Liz.
I understand this. It's like in Mile High. They were like, and we're mile high right now. I'd be like, what?
Every time Indy's like, wow, snogging Ryan Shea was the right move. You're like, come on. Another fun thing, but it's not a fun thing. Another thing about Isaiah is he's colorblind.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I'm about to have a breakdown. Love this book so much. Whenever it is, and she just the first time she picks his outfit out for him.
Yeah. Without him asking.
It's like
the first time she does anything with his clothes is that all she does is she like he's put out his socks on the bed and one is navy blue and one's black, and she like goes back to his suitcase and picks out another black socks and like matches his sock, and then like later down the line she like helps him pick his clothes so they match a bit better, but it's never done in like a pandering like no. You're disabled, would you like some help with your disability? Oh, I'm so good. Wow, someone get me on Comic Relief. She's that was so stupid.
Get me on Comic Relief. I'm Lenny Henry.
Get me a red nose. And she this whole thing where she like he makes them just like when they very first meet 3 years ago, he makes his friends describe the colour of her hair to him, and so like he can tell ish what colours are, but like pinks and reds and purples all get confused. And so then like when they have to share this hotel room and she forgets her toothbrush, and they go to the shop, and
love this bit.
Standing side by side, Isaiah and I stare at the wall of toothbrushes. Finally, Isaiah reaches out to grab one. Here, he says, passing it over to me. Red. You like red, right? This is orange. Oh, his cheeks tinge pink. My bad. I don't ask for an explanation, but still he decides to give one. That colour kind of looks like your hair, and Trav once told me your hair was red. I know it's not just red, it's auburn. Kennedy K. Auburn, in fact. Isaiah, are you colourblind? It's called protanopia. I have trouble with reds. They're all just green to me. At least that's what I'm told. You memorise my hair colour? His eyes follow my hair falling past my shoulder until he gently twirls a piece around his finger. Nothing else has ever been Kennedy K. Auburn. Dead, first of all. Looking up at him, I watch him. This man who smiles too much and memorises the colour of my hair.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then,
can we not skirt past that?
Sorry, I'm not trying to skirt past. I just... And then they're like looking at the toothbrushes, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, what colour do you like? And she's like, neutrals. And he's like, I'm not buying you a beige toothbrush. She says, maybe purple. And then he like, is it this one? He picks the purple. Are purples hard for you to see too? Yeah, I thought this was blue. His attention lands on my left hand, but he doesn't touch it. That, he says, referring to his mum's ring. That's purple though, right? I always thought it was purple.
Because he's given her his mum's ring as the wedding ring.
And so she's initially like, oh my God, okay, hold on. There's so many bits where, and I was like, is this weird or is this good? When they start to like actually make out and do stuff.
No, when they're fucking and he's constantly It'll be like, he pins my hands against the wall, twirling the ring around my finger. And I'm like, we don't need to do this every time, because I'm like, that's your mum's ring.
But also, sometimes I was like, fuck, that's really...
No, in some instances I was like, that's really cute, but we'll get to it when we get to the smut. But like, there are some bits where it's like that, like he's like
penetrating her,
fucking her face, and like twiddling the ring. And I'm like, don't be twirling that ring right now. But
also, I was like, the idea, and you know, again, we're all friends here, nobody tell my boyfriend, the idea of like wearing somebody's sort of like heirloom family ring and them being so obsessed with it and like constantly like looking at it on your hand and like touching it and playing with it, I was like,
yeah, oh my god, it's great.
I'm dying.
I love her having that ring,
because she's like, I can't have it, like I cannot have this ring. He tries to give it to her because they don't have rings when they first get married, because they're just like in Vegas, and he tries to give it to her and she's like, I can't, like, we're not really married, I can't have this. And basically he's like, but I kind of think you might be the one. Yeah. So I really just want you to have it and wear it. And then she's wearing it and she's like, oh, it's really fucking nice actually. And like, this feels quite good. I was like, Liz, being like, okay, I want a purple toothbrush. Is this one purple? Do you struggle to see purple? Yeah, but is that ring purple? I always thought it was purple.
They're talking about the toothbrush and the colours. And she says, do you have a favourite colour then? And he says, besides my favourite shade of auburn, no, I don't have a favourite colour. Why not? I was always nervous that I was going to get it wrong. Like, what if I picked a dumb colour but thought it was cool, you know? There are no dumb colours, blah, blah, blah. Will you pick a favourite colour for me? I huff a laugh under my breath. I vaguely remember thinking about this answer before. Yellow.
Crazy, by the way. I vaguely remember thinking about this answer before.
Crazy. You don't do that with people you're not in love with, Kennedy, my babe.
I'm highlighting that now, by the way, everyone.
So she says yellow, and he says yellow. He appraises my answer. Why yellow? It's like you, bright, happy, and then in italics, not in speech. Reminds me of the sun. Yellow, he repeats. Good colour. My favourite colour, in fact. I've got chills. His smile is warm as he looks down at me, and maybe that's exactly what my coldness needs.
Later, she's at his place, and then he reveals that he brought her a toothbrush, and it's the same toothbrush, it's the purple one. Yeah. And he's like, I had to get someone to show me which one it was.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he had to double check that it was purple.
Imagine being that fucking shop assistant and him being like, my girlfriend really likes this purple toothbrush, but I don't know which one is purple.
Is this purple?
Can you
I know.
Dead.
Know, it's fucking crazy.
Now say about the underwear, because that's also great. I forgot that.
Yeah, later on when she's like, I want to shag now. She wears like a matching yellow set of underwear. And then when he like undresses her and he's like, is this yellow? And it's great. Like, it's such a good use of, this sounds a really weird sentence to say, it's a really good use of his colourblindness. Because when you look at things like Fangirl Down and it's like, oh, she's got diabetes, by the way. It's just a really, really good like use of it. The way they use it is that it's not like this, again, this huge thing that he can't cope with without her. No. But then it just is a really good way of showing how much they like what they do for each other. Him going and asking, is this the right purple, to the shop assistant, her wearing the yellow underwear, her helping him match his socks, like all of that stuff. Like,
it's so cute to think that she put the yellow underwear on and then was like, he might not
realise,
he might not know, but maybe I'll tell him
anyway. Yeah, it was so cute.
I just want to get this out before we continue. He's got a birthmark on his face and she mentions it every fucking sentence. I was like, Liz, give it a rest.
Yeah.
She gets on one with things, Liz Tomforde, as we know.
Does, yeah. There's some incredibly like sweet bits, and then some bits which are so horny. He's very much like, we do things at your pace. If you don't like something, if you want me to stop, tell me, and that's no questions asked, I will stop. And I'm talking of like nice. Brushing her arm, like stuff like that.
It's sort of, again, and I feel like we're really having like a renaissance in
good books,
in smut.
Yeah.
Of, it's not just like kissing scene, blowjob scene, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like other things are happening. There's a crazy scene in this where they do some dry humping in a bar where I was like, this is insane. Like the logistics of having a leg. Anyway.
Yeah.
There's just like they do some like different things.
Yeah.
It's not just like, I fingered her once, now we're fucking, and now we only fuck from now on.
Yeah.
There's sort of just like nice variation.
There is a nice
lovely variation, which I really enjoy.
And the great thing that fake dating, fake marriage brings to a table is like the whole thing of, well, because we're pretending, so I'm gonna like put my hand on your thigh, and then lots of like tell me to take my hand off. There's a bit when they
when they're at the dinner, which I was like, crazy time to be doing this.
Yeah.
Crazy time to be trying to finger her when her mum and dad are there.
He's not trying to finger her.
She's got to go for dinner with her mum and her stepdad.
And her ex-fiance and her stepsister.
And her stepbrother, who we kind of like, who's also in baseball, who we kind of grow to like.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's like, Isaiah, will you come with me? Because I just like, everyone now knows that I'm married to you and we have to pretend that it's real and let's just go with it. And so he goes, and obviously he's like, you know, being supportive and being like, God, these people are horrible to you. This is terrible. It's a classic scene. Yeah. Let's pretend that we're like comfortable touching each other.
But it's a classic thing as well, because all of that is going on where he's like, okay, we're fake married, blah, blah, blah. But he's looking at her and he's like, oh, it really hurts that she's looking at her ex-fiance in that way, where she's like looking at him a bit longingly. But we know that the reason that Kennedy is looking at them that way is because she's not jealous. She doesn't want to be with her ex-fiance. She never liked her ex-fiance. But like the ease with which the ease with which they're touching each other is what she wants. So he like puts his hand on her arm. This is from Isaiah's point of view, by the way. I lean in close, running a soothing palm down her arm. You still good? She nods, a small but proud smile on her face. Maybe for putting her stepsister in place. Maybe for not recoiling at my touch. I decide to test the theory by moving my palm to her upper leg under the table. Upper leg. Fingers curling.
Vagina.
Fingers curling on the inside of her thigh. Crazy.
Her
hand that's holding mine on the table grips tighter. Horny. I lean down to whisper.
God, why didn't I highlight this last time? I'm highlighting so many things.
I lean down to whisper, tell me to stop. She shakes her head no. With a knowing grin on my lips, I inch my hand higher. Words are spoken, but I'm not paying attention. I'm only watching Kennedy, noting the quickening of her pulse as I run my hand over her thigh. She bites her lip and it reads as if she were nervous. I give her leg a squeeze, kick my foot under the table, which is like, again, what they said signal. To do, of I'll stop. I give her leg a squeeze, kick my foot under the table. No, she breathes. Fuck. Instead, Kennedy slightly widens her knees, giving me another couple of inches I could travel north, and I swear to God, I'm on the brink of losing it thanks to her permission.
Horny.
Do you know what I mean? There's instances in this, I'll find them in my notes, where I'm like, that's some good writing, Liz.
Yeah, and
this one's really well written.
Yeah. Like I don't know what happened.
But like there's, and I'll find you other examples
and
soon,
just like
I promise.
Really like
I'm on the brink of losing it thanks to her permission.
Yeah, really.
Not just
I'm brinking.
I'm brinking. But like that of like the because of her permission.
Yeah.
Just that little makes it so impactful.
And it's really like, as Alice was saying, like really good use of consent, where it's like, I don't know if this sounds a bit like sad and like I'm really traumatized, but you read it and it makes you like feel really like nice and safe.
Yeah. No, I think
that's crazy, but like
I don't think that's crazy at all, because I think the reason that Kennedy like recoils from touch and isn't used to it is like because she has never had physical touch. But there are so many people in the world who get anxious about touch for different reasons, for sad reasons. He reads her body language so well.
Yeah.
And like that makes you feel really safe.
I just this is a slight tangent, but it's relevant. Read Will I Ever Have Sex Again by Sophie Hagen. Really good.
Really?
But there's a bit in it where they say about, I can't remember what they call it, like the pyramid of trust or something. But it's basically like there are so many levels of trust that you have to have before you can feel like, especially as a person who is like possibly traumatized or whatever, they feel that you can like be able to have sex with someone. And not only is it like you trust that you will be able, you trust yourself, you trust that you know yourself, you trust that you would be able to stop if you wanted to stop, but also you trust that not only would a person stop if they asked you to stop, but they would be able to know that you wanted to stop before you told them you wanted to stop. I was reading that and I was like fucking crazy, by the way, because that's like obviously something that you feel, but it's so hard to articulate.
Well, that's what I mean when you're like, it's so impressive when people can take those feelings and put them into words, but then when someone can take those feelings and those words and put them into a fictional character without ever saying that that's what they're doing,
and into a scene that is supposed to be like inherently like sexy, but you're still like, this is an excellent exploration of what consent is.
Yeah 100% agree.
So basically there's sort of like quite a few different scenes of like I would say maybe saying he's like testing her boundaries is the wrong phrase, but sort of like
she's testing her boundaries.
She's testing her own boundaries. They're kind of like exploring really small things, just like, you know, the brush of a hand, like maybe a hug,
a handhold.
And then this scene, they do kiss in this scene, don't they?
But she does it as like a fuck you.
And there's like, oh god, the horrible bits where he's like,
I know she's doing this because
she's only touching me because there's people around, and I'm just like, I say it no.
But he's always like,
so
but
sad.
what I like love about him, and why I sometimes find that a bit annoying in fake dating stuff and a bit repetitive, but what I really liked about the way that Liz did it was that like Liz, they would do that, say with the kiss, and then he's like, oh, I know she's doing this because of X, Y, and Z, blah blah blah, but he's always like, but I understand why, and I'm so proud of her for everything she's doing and all the challenges she's facing. I think she's a great girl. And you're like, oh,
he's just a lovely soft-hearted boy.
He is. They're in the club. They get Kennedy. They're on the road.
We're in the club.
And Miller manages to convince Kennedy to go out with them. So they're in the bar. Miller and Kennedy are dancing. Someone comes up and like puts his hand round Kennedy's waist, and she like freaks out because someone's touched her, and she's like never been touched, and it's not Isaiah. And Kai like sprints over and like deals with the guy, and I was like, good man. And Isaiah goes over. That's my brother Kai, brother of Kai, and brother of Kai. And he goes over and like replaces the touch, and it's like a nice thing of like her being like, I prefer this, I like this touch, like this one's nice. And she's like stood there in a club, she's like stood there a bit awkwardly, with a bit more confidence. Kenny lifts her dangling hand from her side, mentally cataloguing what she wants to do with it, but instead drops it right back to her thigh, stiff and uncomfortable. I'm in my head, she admits. I quickly glance around the room. I can't see too much thanks to the crowd and the darkness, blah, 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 blah. Come with me, blah, blah, blah.
Not all of it's good writing.
Yeah, come with me. I bring her to the dark corner. There's a bar stool waiting, so I take a seat, pulling her to stand between my spread legs. And I was like, I love when men do that. Pull me to stand between your spread legs, sir. Brother of Kai. Pull me to stand between your spread legs.
Spread legs.
Spread legs.
Yeah, that's
Brother
fair.
of Kai.
That's fair. That's fit.
Think of this as part of our game. Play along.
Okay.
That's
like the third one.
Yeah,
by the way,
honestly,
at
and
this point.
we're only like 100 pages in. And then she plays along, bitch. She plays along. She steps into me, her palms dragging up my legs, thumbs gliding along the inside seam of my pants.
Part of the reason the scene is so nice, and part of the reason all the smart I think is so nice, like it's good smart, guys. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like just checking this isn't like a love hypothesis all over again. It's good smart is because he is like, I have done this so many times. I've had so much sex, like blah, blah, blah. I've kissed so many women, but like, why am I like losing it?
Yeah.
Like he's like, she's looking at me and I've got a boner.
Yeah.
And I've never felt a boner like it, basically. And you're just like, yes.
But like, again, I hate
Go Kennedy.
It's so good because, you know, sometimes in these books, like in Wild Love, for example, when the first time he kiss and he like puts her hand on his
is the
dick,
choking, yeah.
And it's like, you think this feels like I don't like you? Here's my boner. Rah, rah, rah. And you're like, or when you hear about people getting erections and it's like again, someone's winked at someone and you are ready to ejaculate, and it's like the way that they kind of do the more like it's not insta lust, but the way that she describes the lust and the boners in particular is not like, I'm never like, that's weird. Do you know what I mean? The boners he has, they make sense to me.
Nice old boners.
He's got good boners.
I think it's because he's so like, I just like her so much. And when I just like her so much, and when I like her that much, it just, sometimes when she does stuff, it just like gives me a boner. Yeah. And it's because he's not aggressive.
Yeah.
He's not like,
apart from when he fucks her face.
Yeah. He's not like, she's looking at me and I'm rock hard. Like it's painful, it's straining, it's burning, all the blood in my body rushes to my dick.
I'm so uncomfortable. I think I need to go to the hospital actually. Whereas he's more like, oh yeah, there's a lot of blood in my penis right now, but there's also a lot of love.
There's a lot of blood in my heart. couldn't get it up, babe. I've got too much blood in my heart. And you're like, oh God, that's lovely. Isaiah.
I'm so sorry, babe. The reason I can't have sex with you is because I've only got a semi, because all of my blood is in my heart.
I'm pumping all my blood in my heart for you.
For you. I love you. I love you so But yeah, so she's like rubbing his upper thighs as her hands move up my legs, my fingers dig into her hips, gripping onto her for dear life. And she asks him to take off his jacket.
Yeah,
And I was like,
low key, I was a bit
slut.
like, don't take the jacket off in the club.
Why?
I was just like, what, they're undressing each other in the club.
It's his jacket.
It's like, I can only picture this, by the way, in the because I don't go to the club, obviously. In the club I used to go to in Exeter when I was in uni, it was called Arena. It's now called Unit 1.
I've been to Unit 1.
Yes, you've been to
I've been to Unit 1.
And you know how it's just like the circular dance floor?
I mean, that's 100% what I was imagining too.
Yeah,
like
and the room's just
when
and I'm
it's
like, where are they? By the fucking fruit machine.
They're
where
in like
where are they?
when like the
Great
VIP
club, by the way.
section is like one step up and just like a weird platform in the corner with the same shit sticky booths.
Yeah.
He's on like a bar stool, and the bar stool I'm imagining him on is like one of those weird like plastic ones with the gap in the back, and it's like red and there's the little silver like bit to put your feet on,
And it's like kind of rocking, it's like one of the legs is too short.
yeah,
'cause
I
it
can't
got pushed over by someone drunk. Like I'm like, I cannot imagine this.
no.
Like it's fair, but when you imagine it in like a horrible UK nightclub, you're like
in a uni town. Yeah, and we both went to fucking Navy Town unis as well.
If you just try and picture it, you know, in America,
I tried to
guess.
imagine it in like a really rich VIP club that you see on the telly, but I'm not for clubs, so
And there's like actually a dark corner and not just sort of like a bit where the
there are
carpet's slightly less dirty.
Yeah, there are still dark corners in clubs. When I imagine a dark corner in a club, I imagine like a literal corner, like where two walls meet.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're right, like you're in between two slot machines.
In Unit 1, the toilets are upstairs and there's like a sort of bit where the women's toilet, where there's a photo booth, where there was like a small like section you could get into between the wall and the photo booth.
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining. But for some reason there's a stool there.
There are weird corners in the club in Portsmouth in Astoria. If that's my purgatory. When I die, I assume I'm going straight back to Astoria. And
Forever.
not in a good way. And like, yeah, there were dark corners by the toilets, but the toilets those toilets were the weird ones where there was no doors. It was like a big sink in the middle, and then like you'd go round the corner to the loos. But so like there was no door to the toilet.
No. It's just like round a corner and then that's where the cubicles are.
So the dark corner was just stinking of piss. So I imagine not like this.
Because people are getting drunk and pissing in the big sink.
Yeah.
People are pissing in that sink. Don't think that they aren't. They are.
It's not a sexy place. Nothing bleaker in my life than you're washing your hands at that big sink and you look up and there's a guy on the other side of the bar, of the sink, equally drunk, like, hey. and you're like, hey. Anyway,
Jarring. Anyway, sorry.
he says, "You still doing okay?" She nods against me. "I like touching you." "Yeah." I let my hands drop a bit further south. "And I'd like it if you touch me too, Isaiah." And I'm like, "Kennedy, you're gonna kill me."
Slow.
And then he like grabs her ass and he's squeezing and kneading. "You like that, Ken?" I grab her again. Her breaths are ragged, her body writhing against me. Yes. And there are some bits where I'm like, in any book where I'm like, I get it. It's horny. It's horny. There's build up. She's been rubbing all over him. But I don't think I've ever been grabbed on the arse and like it be squeezed and kneaded or whatever. And if someone said, "You like that?" I'd be like, "Yeah, oh my God." Do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
like I need sort of something else.
Something a bit more. And then, yeah, with my face hidden in her neck and curtained by her hair, I breathe her in, gripping the underside of one of her legs, situating her bent knee to rest on my thigh, leaving her standing on one foot but half on top of me.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine. I still to this day, as if I didn't read it 10 days ago, I can't.
It's like her leg is up, but it's not like the tip of her knee. It's like her leg is kind of open. So her leg's kind of to the side.
Yeah, yeah.
Because in my head, when you initially read it, you feel like she's just got one knee on his knee, and I'm like, how are you accessing her clit,
she's
my friend?
stood in between his legs.
Yeah.
So she must be right, like chest to chest by this point.
Yeah.
And then her leg is like up and over and out, almost like hooking behind him.
Sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like over his thigh crease, if you will.
Yes.
I imagine.
If you will.
But
because they've got to dry hump in a minute.
Comfy.
No, and I just couldn't stop being like, imagine being in the club
I'm
and
like, this
seeing,
woman's never been touched.
and seeing someone do that. I'd be like, stop. Ick.
There's nothing half hard about me anymore. I'm aching, painfully aching by having this woman on top of me.
Just so we're clear, the blood has left his heart.
Yeah.
It's now all in his penis. It's not about love anymore, guys. It's about dry humping.
Yeah.
I'd be able to work her hips, and in no time I'd have her coming still fully clothed on my lap. I'm like, guys.
I'm like, if we were not in the club, if we were in a bedroom or on the sofa, like us right now,
no.
I'd be like,
now we have to try it.
fuck. I'd be like, okay. But the fact that I'm like, I don't want to be coming in a club.
I don't think you want to come in the club. Now listen, tell me if you think I'm wrong. I'm not coming in the club. I can't concentrate.
No.
Pitbull's playing.
I'm coming.
Someone's spilling a blue WKD on my back. I'm not even a WKD, actually, sorry, a VK.
Yeah. I'm pushed in between a photo booth and a wall.
It stinks a bit.
My foot actually can't get over him because it's stuck to the floor because the carpet's so sticky.
And inexplicably, I'm like, why is he on a stool? Why did they put a stool here? What's going on?
We're not coming in the club.
I'm not.
Even if it is Isaiah Rhodes. The beginning of the next chapter, before we get into the full-blown smut, it wasn't supposed to be like that. I didn't know it could be like that. I wasn't aware my brain could quiet itself or that my body knew exactly what to do when the moment presented itself. Kissing Isaiah wasn't supposed to be like that. And I was like, hell yeah, bitch. You're in now.
You're in trouble now,
my friend.
Yeah, because I think, this whole thing where she's like, he's teaching me how to do kissing, basically, so that I can be kissing other people in the future. For me, it does go on for a little bit long. We're just friends who got married, and then she's gonna give me some lessons.
He's just gonna teach me how to fuck.
And then we're gonna get divorced, and I'm gonna divorced, and then I'm gonna move. It's gonna be fine. And I'm just kind of like, it's a little bit long. There's a little bit, it's not a 5-star book. It's only a 4.25, guys. I've got to find problems with it. And one of those problems is that you are like, okay, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Let's come on. Get a clue, Claire.
Get a clue, Claire.
It's the past.
Get a clue, Kennedy. It's baseball. Do you know what I mean? So they're basically like, okay, let's do bits. We're gonna do bits. She goes over and she's wearing the matching underwear.
This is when she's doing it. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And he says, Kennedy, he whispers, facing me, I need you to use your words and tell me exactly what you want or what you don't want. I don't know what I want. Okay, how about we have a safe word then? If I have to have a safe word, I guess it'll be Mrs. Rhodes. He barks a laugh. You pick the one thing you'll never say? Yep. And I was like, classic. And then he says, you're such a fucking brat. And guys...
Yeah, you love that, as we know. For me, I'm like, we're just overusing the word brat at this point.
Whereas I'm like, he calls her a brat a good amount of time, and I'm like...
Not everything is someone being a brat.
Imagine this man, okay? This specific man, yeah? And then in this situation... Because the way he's saying it, he's like in fucking Wild Love, he's really like, you're a fucking brat.
Mean. Yeah. Rude.
He's like... Whereas Isaiah, the tone is such oh, you're such a fucking brat. It's so it's much more poking fun than actually you're a brat. Brat girl summer, everyone.
I won't be doing it. Thank you. I won't be partaking.
I shall. Here's the thing, Ken.
Yeah.
I am. Dan loves that album. I'm never not listening.
I didn't know you were going to say that. I was like, you're really revealing stuff about Dan that you've never revealed before.
The Brat album by Charlie XCX. Dan loves that album. That is what I meant when I said it's Brat Girl Summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing, Ken.
Oh, God.
You're going to have to set the pace because I have craved you here in my bed since the day we met. And that need has only gotten worse now that I know you.
Iconic line. I'm highlighting that. Sorry.
Regardless.
I must do my highlighting.
The truth is, I'd fuck you right now if you asked me to. I'd go slow if that's what you wanted, or I'd make it rough. But I also can't read your mind. So again, I'm going to need you to use your words and set the pace. So she's in her matching underwear under the sheet. I take Isaiah's hand that's cupping my jaw and guide him down, his callous fingers grazing the skin of my throat until I leave him lingering against my sternum. Looking up, I find his eyes locked on my face, watching me and not letting his attention dip below the sheets just yet. Please look at me, I beg. I need to know the way it'd feel for Isaiah to look at me. Okay, Pulitzer.
Ugh.
He inhales sharply and then he... Guys, closing his eyes to gather himself, and when they open, his pupils are entirely blown out.
Oh, God. Oh, no. That's problematic.
Time for the hospital.
He's gone blind.
as they trail down my throat, land on my chest, looking at me as if I were the greatest thing he's ever seen. I've never, not once, been looked at the way my husband looks at me. The way my husband looks at me.
By the way, this
Bitch.
whole time when they refer to each other as husband and wife, it's fucking...
It's really hot.
Like, you are like...
It's really hot.
Oh my God. Because it's kind of like, they're not... Isaiah will sort of refer to her as his wife to her, but she's not referring to him as her husband except in her mind.
In her brain.
In her mind.
In her brain.
Because we're like, we know you love him. And it's so good.
Oh, his thumb dusts over the freckles on my sternum. I love these, he whispers before shifting to skim the lace of my bralette. And this looks so fucking good on you, Ken. What colour is it? White? I swallow down the nerves. Yellow. A grin hitches on his lips as his eyes come back up to find mine. My favourite colour. It takes them ages to kiss because they're like trailing up each other's forearms and down each other's backs and all that stuff. And it's horny, guys, but I don't have the time.
It is horny, but you know, it's 10 p.m.
It starts slow, soft and sweet. Our mouths take their time exploring one another as we hide under the sheets in his bedroom. Lifting my leg, I drape over his hip. And guys, guess what that means? Here we go.